Hello guys, Mix Studio here, and on this video I will be speaking about the snare from the get-go, from the moment where you are starting to produce any music. So on the previous video I've spoke about kicks, and I gave you some tips. Now on this video I'm going to speak about snares, and let's do it. So any most of the musics we produce have snares depending on the style. There are very different styles of snares, so the tip again is listen to different genres, different music genres, so you know, so you understand. Pay special attention to what the snares look like, what they sound. Do not go to start your music and pick the snare that looks great to you. Remember, the snare might look great to you, but you should be listening to top music. To let's say that you are producing pop songs, you should be listening to pop songs on the if you are working with clients. It's a great idea to listen to snares that are related with the sounds that your client is trying to produce with you. So the first thing I would advise you is to always listen to music and pay special attention to the sounds that are being played. So after that, if you didn't have this, please remember, it's always, I cannot emphasize this enough, to create a great library with sounds. And please remember, great library has nothing to do with the quantity of sounds, with the volume of sounds you have. It's almost useless to have 500 snares or 1000 kicks. Usually it will just create a totally mess on your work. Imagine you are working with a client, and your client is telling you, well, let's choose a snare, and you have this folder with hundreds or thousands of snares. I think, in my own perspective, it's useless, it's unprofessional, because you should have a lower number of any type of snares or kicks. The most important thing is, first, you are listening top music, top productions, top mixing engineers. You are listening what is on top. You are paying attention to what is being played, what sounds are used, and then you create your sounds library with fewer sounds, but really great sounds. Really sounds that you can just drop on your music sequencer, and it will immediately put your song on a higher level. This is something that sometimes people do. They just have a huge folder with sounds, and the client arrives at the student and starts speaking. Well, I want this, I want a snare, and then one opens the folder and it's full of like a Milky Way with snares, and it can take hours. And the more sounds you have on that folder, the more confusing it gets to choose the right sound. So to make your life easier, just lower the number of sounds you have, but choose wisely. If you there are great sources of free sounds, you can just download free. There are great sources of paid sounds that you can buy, and immediately the number is lower, but the quality, it offers such a quality to your work that it's a great improvement. Okay, now let's delve into the snares here. So usually to the snares, as you can imagine, I just go to the snare that I think it's the most logical, the most quality snare that I can find that will immediately improve the song. So let's say if I'm producing pop music, there are a bunch of snares that are being using on most of the musics. If you are creating, let's say, some Latin song, there are a bunch of snares regarded to that. If you are creating reggaeton, you just need to have really a lower number, but really reggaeton specific snare. So you choose the best you think you it can give you the best for your song. You speak with the singer or your client, see how if he likes it. Then so after you choose your main snare, you might want to have a second snare just to give more body to your main snare. It might be related with a bit of on the lower EQ. This is something that can happen or not, but usually you might find that your main snare has not all the bends you want, all the punch you want. And sometimes on the lower end of the audio spectrum, main snares can lack a bit. So you might search a second snare with bigger, with more presence on the lower end, and you can put it on another pad. You might want to add another snare just for another part of the music, so you can give another type of sound, let's say in the bridge of the music. The imagination is the limit, but usually I'll go for main snare, a bit of lower body snare, and some other snare just to create some to differentiate on some part of the music, the snares. So on snares, and now related with stereo or mono, many people just work on mono, other people work on stereo. I usually, as you can see, for kicks I go with mono, because kicks you want them dead on the center. But with snares, many times I'll just leave it on stereo, because I might want to expand the snare a bit, any of these snares. So I think it's a safe way to go. Not a problem here. I'll go stereo, and later I might expand the snare or not, depending on how the music goes. But usually snare goes to stereo, and this will help you expanding your snares left and right. Uh, if you want to improve, remember, just deliver them to different channels. Let's say, so this one is going to channel 1, this one can go to channel 2, this one to channel 3. So what this will give you is the ability to, in your mixer here, down there, you can just choose the right volume in a more easier way. So that's all for snares. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please hit the like button and help the channel subscribing. Thank you.